Hello and welcome back to our second episode of the Rule of Two Star Wars show. I don't know where the comma or colon goes in there. I'll figure that out later when we get an English teacher in here. But I'm back. My name is Jared. My sister's back as well.
Hello.
Okay. Today we're going to go through, again, 3 different topics. Our first one's going to be Rebels. We had last week's dual episode of Jedi Knight and Doom, and we have this week's upcoming our dual episode Wolves in a Door, and then A World Between Worlds. And then after this week, we only have one more week. Next week is the finale, so definitely super excited for that. Our second topic is going to be Benioff and D.B. Weiss, who are the showrunners for Game of Thrones. They have been given a series of films in Star Wars to work with. And so, yeah. And then our last one is we have the Captain Phasma. We have the Captain Phasma, this Journey to the Star Wars The Last Jedi comic book 5-issue run. So we'll get into that towards the end. But let's get into Rebels. And before we get into Rebels, my sister has a cough, so if you hear a lozenge or some muffled coughing, please forgive us. Other than that, subscribe if you enjoy this, and you haven't already subscribed. So Rebels, last week's episode, I did a review, but I mean, obviously the people would like to know your opinion on last week's dual episodes.
Okay, well, the first episode was, going really well. It was top-notch, Filoni. Hats off to you, man. But at the end there, spoiler alert.
Yes, very much spoilers.
If you haven't seen that episode, what happens at the end there broke my heart. Because I knew... Are we spoiling this?
Yeah, we can spoil it.
Okay.
Yeah,
Just
you've been warned. You've been warned. I will put a spoiler alert in the video. Go ahead.
Okay, so when Kanan dies, I was so sad because I knew that we were going to get some death this season. I was fine with that.
Yeah.
I just didn't want it to be in the first episode.
Well, it was the first episode of the second half of the season.
I know. I get it. But I still didn't want it. Because I love Kanan. But he did that whole... She said she loved him. There were decorations.
Yeah,
he was going to die.
It was dead. He was a dead man walking, really.
And he cut his hair and all that, so...
Didn't look good.
Right. No. But that's okay. Man's about to die. Let him shave his head whatever way he likes. Hera, I thought she was good. The characters were good. Second episode, I remember a lot less.
Yeah, but...
It was more setup to me.
It was more sadness and setup.
Yeah. And big wolves and stuff.
Wolves, yeah. We got Jon Snow's wolf in there.
And then they kind of beat Rook.
Yeah.
So
Sabine
that's something, because
Sabine
he's a
and
really
Seb,
big thing for them, which is, but I'm okay with them just spray painting him and shaming him, pushing him into...
that was lame.
But I'm okay with it because maybe shame is worse to him than death or something.
I don't know.
So
I don't know.
I don't know that character.
They definitely didn't get even by spray painting some, fake eyelashes on him or whatever.
No. But also Kanan did destroy the fuel
depot. So no more TIE Defenders being...
Which explains why they're not in the movies.
Yeah, but... And also, Thrawn is mad.
Yeah, and we got a little bit of Krennic talk.
Oh, yeah, there was a Krennic. It wasn't an Easter egg. It was a mention. Tarkin still doesn't like him.
Yeah. So, I mean, overall, it was good. I'm just sad that he's gone.
Yeah.
But it's going to be interesting to see how they deal with it.
Yeah, it's a great thing. It's totally like Ned Stark's death in the end of season 1, because that kicks off all the other Starks. It kicks off their rise to power, So it kicks off all of their arcs as far as how they come about, And so this Kanan's death is totally gonna kick off Ezra, doing some stuff, becoming more of a leader. Hera's gonna become more of a leader, but one who knows about sacrifice and what it takes sometimes, to win a battle and to win the war. But Wolves in a Door and A World Between Worlds, that comes out tomorrow when this video is released.
Just one last thing on that. I thought it was interesting that they decided she was the one they wanted to break. Because not only is she the leader, she's always the most positive. Like, everybody else, Zeb and, like, Ezra, they all have, like, taken their little foyers into, like, the darkness.
Mm-hmm.
But she's the only one that's always been positive. And in these episodes, you saw her sort of break down and, like, really feel the death of him. So it's probably best that they did that so that by the end of this, they can all have had their, like, trials. So, go ahead with the next step.
But Wolves in a Door, okay, you guys, there's one thing that, like, in Rebels, other than the filler episodes, there's one thing that so far, well, there's two things, but there's one thing right now that I literally don't care for, and it's the talking wolves. To me, like, why? I don't understand that. Maybe it'll come about. Wolves in a Door, they're just
too big.
They're too big, and they can talk, and somehow they disappear, and, like, what? What's going on here?
Wolves in a Door. We'll see. Maybe he's going into a world between worlds that might have something to do with...
It's gonna be the Mortis stuff. It's gotta be, because the end is where Thrawn has to come back, and you're gonna get the bombardment of the city.
So you think these two next episodes are just gonna be all of that?
Yeah, they're gonna be the Mortis stuff.
So we're gonna see
Palpatine.
We're gonna see Palpatine.
Yeah.
That'll be interesting.
I hope I hope they don't bring back the father, son, or daughter, because those characters are dead. Like, for all intents and purposes, they are dead when you watch the Mortis episodes of the Clone Wars. Those characters should be dead.
I don't remember them too well, but sure. I mean, we get them at least in, like, painting or whatever that is supposed
mural.
To be. Yeah, mural. So.
And the wolf gave Ezra a stone.
I'm not too hot on the wolves either. They're okay.
They're fine, but, like, it doesn't make any sense. That's the whole thing.
Yeah. So, I mean, we'll see.
Yeah. That's pretty much
it's
it for Rebels.
Good. The two episodes were still
the two episodes were really, really good. I hope they can continue to go, stay good or get better.
Yeah. And I like this dual episode thing.
Right.
I think it's
It works
good.
So much better.
Yeah, they're totally gonna finish before Solo comes out.
Yeah.
So this is just sort of like a hold you over.
Yeah, hold you over, and then a couple books come out in between Solo and this. But let's move on to Benioff and D.B. Weiss. This is the best news that I've heard since we're getting Star Wars back. Like, since 2012 when they started working on Star Wars. Honestly, this is my favorite news. Like, I totally get the whole Rian Johnson trilogy thing. I'm super excited for that, but this thing gets me pumped because I really, really enjoy all of Game of Thrones. There are some stuff like the Arya going to, to the Faceless Men, and some of that stuff can be considered filler, but I think giving these guys movies instead of a TV show eliminates the filler stuff. They'll cut that stuff out. They know how to do good, strong male characters. They know how to do strong female characters who are in power. So I think that, to me, like, this is the best news. Like, some people don't care for it. I honestly don't understand that, but to me, I feel like this is some of the best news that they could have done.
You know this. I haven't watched Thrones, and I don't really care to. There's a lot. Whatever. I've seen the last season, though, fully.
Season 7.
And then I've seen some big episodes like, what's that one episode with the
battle?
Yeah, the battle of the...
Yeah.
Yeah. So I've seen a couple things from there, and one full season, and from that season alone, I mean, it was really good.
Really good.
So,
Yeah.
And the fact that it's been on for so long shows that obviously they know how to do good stuff.
And there hasn't been a decline. Like, you watch some other shows, cough, cough, Walking Dead, start out amazing, but there's a decline. Like, over time, the shows seem to decline as far as their quality. They don't seem... Like, nowadays, Walking Dead doesn't seem to be as good as it was in its early days. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So, and that's the thing that Game of Thrones hasn't done. It seems only like it's picking up.
Yeah.
You know?
Sure.
And it's...
Dragons and stuff.
And they haven't said... They said it was a series of films, so...
That's another thing, as far as, like, dragons and stuff. They know how to deal with, like,
mythology.
Kind of all of this craziness, because Star Wars can be that.
Right.
And so I think they'll know how to, like, inject some of the sort of mythical stuff and mystical stuff and still not make it too much.
Right.
So.
And it's a series of films, so... I mean, trilogy is kind of the norm now, but do you think that they will do more than 3?
No, I don't think so.
You don't think they would, like, go the saga route with them?
It depends, because they have to, in order to do, like, the saga stuff, you have to have characters and people that the audience really, really loves.
Yeah, but
maybe they just told them, like, do 2, and then we'll make it a trilogy if people like it, you know, because there's a little bit of divisiveness in Star Wars right now.
Mm-hmm. Which is
so maybe they're just they could just be cautious, unless they're not, and they're just like, well, you guys are awesome, so take everything.
Yeah, no, that's the thing though. Like, with I mean, I'm gonna compare it to Marvel, but with what Marvel does, they're not cautious. They throw caution to the wind sometimes with the people that they get, but they get the right people. And I think D.B. Weiss and Benioff are good people because they know how to plan out a series of storytelling, in the movie/TV.
But Marvel is different because whenever something comes out that's different, there's a heist film or there's, a different kind, like a...
Right.
Whatever, something different, everyone's like, oh, that's so cool, that's different. But with Star Wars, they want Star Wars.
Right, but I think what they're doing is, like, the standalone films, like Solo is going to be a heist film. It seems like that's what it's going to be. So I think when you get that variety, it's kind of like the Avengers films. They're probably kind of all going to end up the same. Big team comes together, something breaks them apart, then at the end they all come together again. Mm-hmm. That's kind of like the normal, and it's a very epic scale, and that's what the saga films are. Whereas you have the standalone films, and they're very small. They have their own genres. Rogue One was a war film. Solo's going to be a heist film. Obi-Wan could be Old Man Logan type. You never know. And that's where I like the variety. The standalones can do that variety, but something like... And even Rian Johnson's trilogy can have that variety.
Sure.
You can do that variety with them, and then you have the Benioff and Weiss, and their stuff could be the replacement for... After Episode 9, you're going to have... It seems like they're going to take some time for the numerical series of Star Wars films. So that could be their older public, because we know Bob Iger said they were going to explore, different time periods within Star Wars. So that's totally a dead giveaway that it's going to be, in my opinion, that it's going to be older public. And that could be your big spectacle where you have the individual films with their individual little types and genres that they can do with those, and then you have your big ones with these guys because they know how to do the big spectacle stuff.
Maybe, but as far as like, I don't think they're going over 3. I think either they're going down to 2.
A duology would be great too. That could totally work.
So that's my thinking. I don't think they're gonna go over 3.
Yeah.
But as far as like what time periods, what are you thinking you want from them? I kind of want somebody to do like a Bane. Either Ryan Johnson or
be so good.
Benioff and Weiss.
I think Benioff and Weiss, I think they would do better, not in a Bane, but I think they would do better in the Old Republic before Bane, where you, at least in Legends before Bane, where you have a lot of Sith and a lot of Jedi.
Mm-hmm.
I think I would love a Darth Malgus stuff. I think that character is really fun. If you guys don't know who Darth Malgus is, look him up. He's a really cool character as well. I think that they would do good with that, because when you look at Bane, when you read those books, after that first book, it gets to be a very small.
Yeah.
It's small in spectacle.
Yeah.
Whereas, like, when you think of a saga film, you think of, like, the Star Wars films, how they have ramifications across the entire galaxy.
Yeah.
And the Bane, that character, after that first book, all the conflict and everything only has ramifications for him and his apprentice.
Mm-hmm.
So I think they would do better with something before then. But if they announced that they were doing Bane, I would be pumping my fist just as hard.
Mm-hmm. I mean, maybe I just said that because I'm reading the book now.
But it's so good.
Yeah, I still want to see that because I don't know, for some reason, because they're, in Game of Thrones, they do very much, like, historical, but not our history.
Right.
And I don't know, I just feel like Bane is
the one thing that I do not want. I don't want origins of the Jedi or Sith. I feel like that is... I do not want that at all. That's the one thing I don't want, because I don't want to see some young... I don't want to see some, like, dude, like, lift up a rock, like a little rock that he's trying to skip along some water, and I don't want that to be, like, the big reveal of the movie, you know? Because, like, the origins of the Jedi, they... Done right, I understand, like, done right, anything could be awesome. I would just rather have that history and that, mythology already built up be before the movies that I watch. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. But, I mean, I don't want that either. I don't care about knowing where any of them came from.
Mm-hmm.
But they will get into, like, some smaller stories eventually, because not everything is going to be huge.
Mm-hmm. It's
exciting.
It's exciting, and we're on the upswing.
They're talented.
Yeah,
so.
Of course. And it seems like every time somebody's like, well, why don't you get a lady director? You know why they don't get a lady director? Is because all the lady directors are already doing Marvel or Disney or, or Wonder Woman. Like,
there's more. And
there's more, but, like, the people, the other ladies, like the lady who did Lady Bird and 3 Billboards, like, though they probably don't want to, do a big spectacle film like this. They probably want to stay in that niche, indie market.
Yeah, some people do like that because they can make exactly what they want. But I like DB and Weiss, and we'll get a female director. We'll get a black director.
Yeah.
So it's coming. I mean, Ryan Coogler, he's already in the Disney family, so and so is Ava DuVernay.
Yeah.
So, and the woman doing Captain Marvel. So
yes,
I think they're 2 directors for that.
They're rocking it.
But
like Disney has got the lady directors. Don't worry about them being sexist. They got them.
Yeah.
I mean, Kathleen Kennedy runs Lucasfilm.
Yeah. So, yeah.
All right, moving on to the comic book that we got, Star Wars Captain Phasma. What did you think about this?
I thought it was good. The art is great.
The art is really good.
Really nice like drawings in here.
The visual of her looking at the woods and you just see the silhouette of Kylo Ren and Rey fighting on Starkiller Base is so nice.
Yeah,
I thought
there's
that
a
was
lot of
great.
good because she's such an ominous.
She's such ambiguous character and such a powerful character at the same time.
Right.
It's super cool to watch what she does. And there's a picture in here. This one right here. I'll see if I can find it on the internet. I'm sorry if I can't, but that one, beautiful.
Yeah. We see her how she gets out of Starkiller Base.
Mm-hmm. She like literally blows a hole through the garbage
time-
compactor wall.
The time jump is cool at the beginning, and then they show you how she gets out and how she gets to that point.
Mm-hmm.
How they do time in here is interesting. And then we never see her face, even though she takes off her helmet. It's just like a black abyss.
Yeah. It's so enigmatic.
And she puts another helmet on.
Yeah,
'cause
we get to release the Kraken.
the story
part.
is. Tell them the premise of the story.
Okay,
basically.
so the story is since in episode 7, Captain Phasma, takes down the shields to Starkiller Base, thus allowing the rebellion or the resistance to come in and blow it up. So what she does, she gets out of the trash compactor and she finds out, she deletes the information that the records of her taking down the shields, and she makes other information that somebody else did it, and then she finds out that one of I think it was Sergeant Revis.
I think.
Sergeant Revis or
Revis.
yeah, Revis.
Revis.
It was Rivis. I'm sorry. There was another character who looked on the records and found out that she was the one who let down the shields. So she's pretty much, trying to survive, trying to protect herself because like Snoke, dude's not happy about Starkiller Base being blown up. Yes.
So
Rivis. This dude apparently knew that she had taken down the shield, and so she was just gonna, make sure nobody could blow the whistle on her, and she goes and kills him.
yeah,
It's really good.
and she takes a pilot,
Yeah.
and yeah,
She goes to a world that is apparently very much like Parnassos, which is her home planet. It's full of rocks and water, and it's pretty much,
She slips at one point and says something.
Oh yeah, she
calls
talks
somebody
about
a name.
Civ, who was in her book,
Okay.
the Phasma book.
And-
That was like her aunt.
I don't know.
I believe it was like her mentor, at least in her book.
Sure.
But it's super fun. We have like Krakens on this planet that are cool, and then we have like mini humanoid Krakens.
She like makes a big speech and like has everyone chanting her name,
Yeah.
and then she does this switch at the end where she's just like, I don't care about these people, and
Yeah.
you're just like, whoa.
This is
And
this
the pilot
is
is shocked too. So.
yeah. This is very much in line with her book. If you don't know and you want to read her book, I think it's just called Phasma. It's a really good read. But this is very much in line with that, where in that book and in this comic book, we find out that Phasma is all about survival. Like, there's nothing more important to her than survival. And that's another reason why, or that's the main reason why she lets down the shields to the Starkiller Base, is because she's trying to live. She's not going to let Finn blow that rust bucket off her head,
Right. So, yeah, it's a good book.
Comic book.
Comic book.
It's a
sorry.
nice little 5-issue run.
Yeah, it's easy to read.
Yeah.
And it's beautiful.
And I like
So-
that they don't, like, give her humanity, even though that's
Right.
what they could have done. They could have had her, like, take off her helmet and be like, "Wah," start crying and all that stuff. But they didn't do that. They kept her that hard character captain,
Right.
Survival is the main
I
idea.
thought it was a little bit long for her to like jump off the Starkiller Base, and then go do all of this stuff, and then all of a sudden she's back.
Yeah, with General Armitage Hux.
But I guess it was okay.
Yeah. She was making sure that nobody could blow the whistle on her. As
Right.
far as her taking down the shields.
And it's interesting. They have a good story here. Her and the pilot. She
Yeah.
never says the pilot's name. The only her like call. What is it? Call sign.
Her call sign. It's like.
And then the rest of the way she calls her Pilot.
Yeah.
So
it's pretty
interesting.
Cool.
I thought Pilot was a dude till she took off her helmet, and I was like, oh.
Oh.
I was reading that wrong.
I read it as a lady. I don't know for some reason. But it's a nice comic book. It's not the best one I've read, but it's really good as far as the character is exactly the same character as the one as Phasma is in her own book.
So it's well written.
It's well written. The art is really nice too. Like, she's a powerful character, and the way the way the art is, it always shows her like being in command, and that's something that's really cool to keep that consistency. Mm-hmm. The writing's good too.
Yeah.
When she shot the BB unit, I was like, oh, that stinks.
Spoilers.
Yeah. But that's gonna pretty much do it for our second episode of the Rule of Two Star Wars show. Hey, out there. If you out there, the people in the cosmos and in the world,
in the galaxy.
If you want to tell your friends about this show, go ahead and tell them about this show, because hey, we need growth, So, and if you enjoy the show and you've listened to this long, then you should definitely tell your friends about the show. We'd love to have them come and listen to the show. We'd love to hear any feedback on what you think we could do better. What would you like us to talk about, maybe? Tell us that in the comments section down below. Or we have a Facebook page. It's facebook.com/CCinemaReviews page. We're also on Twitter @CCinemaReviews. So definitely tell us your thoughts there if you don't want to do that in the comments section down below. But hey, share this show. We're going to continue to do it. We'll be back next week, Sunday. Star Wars Sunday, that's what I always wanted to do, so we're doing it now. And hopefully we get some more news. We will talk next week about Wolves and a Door and a world between worlds. So definitely check back next Sunday for the next episode of Rule of Two. Thank you very much.
Very much.
I think. Thank you very much for listening and clicking on this, and we hope to see you next time. May the Force be with you.
Mm-hmm.